Hi, this is Suzanne Williams with Essential Oils Health Matters and Living the Wholesome Life. And we are on week 14, day 3 of our positive, peaceful affirmations that we are doing every day, Monday through Friday. And I don't know how long you've been tuning in, but all I can say is it's amazing to start your day with a positive affirmation and with with a goal of how we're gonna work on ourselves today. It's done a ton for me just doing these affirmations. So thank you for letting me be part of your journey. So the affirmation we are following, just to let you know, we are following Dr. Susan Lawton's Positive Peaceful Growth Calendar that you can buy at Aroma Tools or Oil Life. Hold on. Anyway, so the affirmation for this week is I am in charge of my brain. And hallelujah, isn't it amazing that we are human, that we have the gift of changing how we think about things and changing our brain. I feel like if we feel like we're not smart, oh my gracious, we can go and learn so many different things. If we feel that our brain isn't capable of learning something, we can break it down and we can learn it. If we feel that our brain tends to be negative or tends to be depressed or tends to be anxious, we have the power to work on that. We have the power to change that. So just saying, I have the power to change my brain, and you have it in you. You have the power to change your brain. Okay, so that's the affirmation for this week, that I have the power to change my brain. And the affirmation for today is I choose to create positive thoughts in my head. Now, I love it, because we can create things, right? And I don't know how many of you guys are doing the Light the World campaign, or if you've even heard of it. So if you haven't heard of it, let me just tell you a little bit briefly about it. It's a campaign that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has done, I'm going to guess, for like the last 4 years. And it always starts December 1st, and every single day they give you an idea of one thing that you can do to give a gift back to God. And to give a gift to yourself and to give a gift to other people around you. And they just have a ton of different ideas. Like some of them are, one of them this month was contributing to a reputable charity. You know, that helps the world. Yesterday's challenge, I guess, was, hold on, here it is. I have it on my phone, and I'm taping it from my phone, so I can't read it off of my phone, so I wrote it down for you. Take a vow of positivity today. Greet everyone, and I'm going to say including yourself, with smiles. Or post something positive and uplifting on social media. So I love that. Take a vow of positivity. And we don't want to just do that one day, right? We don't want to just take a vow of positivity one day a year. We want to take a vow of positivity every day. We want to be the most loving and kind and uplifting and looking for the good in ourselves and looking for the good in others and looking for the good in situations and being the ones to point out the good. We want to be those positive people. Okay, so when I was thinking about positive people, do you have heroes or heroines that are positive role models in your life? I don't know. Shall we all just take just a minute and think of, when you think of someone that you strongly admire, who's positive, who do you think of? Okay, we're just gonna give it a minute. Okay, did you think of someone? I did. So I love old movies, and both of my parents were a little bit older than most of my other friends' parents. My mom didn't get married till she was 33. She had me in her late 30s, and so I grew up with the gift of having older parents, which means that they had a longer outlook than some of my friends' parents had. And anyway, they introduced me to a lot of old things that I loved, and so I grew up loving old movies. And one of my favorite actresses is Doris Day. Now, I think that Doris Day is Miss Optimism, Miss Optimistic. Like, she would totally win that title because she has just such a smile and a brightness about her, and she faces her movies face so many different things with just an optimistic, absolutely can-do attitude. So that's one thing that positivity brings to us and to others. One of the gifts of positivity is that it allows us and others to think we are capable and we can do things and things are going to work out. So when I'm also thinking of another person that I admire that had a super optimistic attitude, it was one of our old prophets, President Gordon B. Hinckley. And he gave some speeches. And I'm going to actually read to you from one of his speeches that he gave at Brigham Young University. But first of all, he gave a speech called "Don't Be a Pickle Sucker," which means, like, don't don't seek out the sour and point out the sour and the negative in life. Maybe the speech was called "Were you weaned on a pickle?" We don't want to be the type of person that's weaned on a pickle, right? But one of his speeches, I don't even know the name of his speech. Hold on, because I have it on my computer. Let me just bring it up super quick for you. I don't usually read to you, but I definitely wanted to read to you today. So the speech was called "Let Not Your Heart Be Troubled," and it was October 29th of 1974. And we'll try to put the link in the comment section to this. But one of the things, there's three things that he said in the speech that I want to share with you. And Gordon B. Hinckley pointed out that when he was not in the speech, but before, in a different speech, that when he was young, he tended to be very critical of others and even negative. And his father changed that in him. And his father would often say, cynics do not contribute, skeptics do not create, and doubters do not achieve. So again, that's the gift of positivity, is that you go on to contribute and create and achieve things. Okay, so in this speech, Gordon B. Hinckley, who's an apostle at the time, talks about World War II and a speech that Winston Churchill gives in World War II. And I loved this speech. It says, "Do not let us speak of darker days. Rather, let us speak rather of sterner days. These are not dark days. These are great days. The greatest days our country has ever lived. And we must all thank God that we've been allowed, each of us according to our stations, to play a part in these days memorable in the history of our race." So, I don't know if you know if I love Winston Churchill. He's definitely one of my heroes. And following the catastrophe of Dunkirk, okay, this is one of the speeches that Winston Churchill gave. I love that. Churchill, like a church standing on a hill, lending out its light. I really feel like that's who Winston Churchill was. And he says, "We shall not flag or fail, We shall fight in France. We shall fight on the seas and the oceans. We shall fight with growing confidence and growing strength in the air. We shall defend our island. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets, and we shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender. Now that was my ringtone. His never surrender speech was my ringtone for the longest time, because in the darkest time where country after country after country was falling to Nazism, and where the old prime minister of England said, let's compromise so that we don't get killed and taken out, right? Winston Churchill was voted in by popular vote, right? And he said, absolutely not. We will never compromise with evil. We will never compromise with evil. And he said, we will never give up the fight. And in one of his speeches, he says, we shall fight on until perhaps a power to the west will come in and help us, right? So I feel like whatever our fight is, and we all have different fights in life, right? Whatever our fight is, we will fight on. And God is going to help us. Like, there was a talk that I listened to once on how God often saves us at the last minute, right? When the children of Israel were going on, and they came, the Egyptians were now coming behind them, and in front of them was the Red Sea. It wasn't until they put their feet into the water that the water opened up, and then they walked through the Red Sea safely, right? And so, and there's so many times where the Lord saves us at the last minute. All I'm saying is, don't give up faith. Never give up faith. Our God is a God of miracles. Okay. So I wanted to tell you that. Anyway, going back to accentuating the positive, I think that positivity and faith are like twinners. They go hand in hand. When you have faith, you can be positive because you know that good things are going to happen. Remember how we talked about yesterday on how one of the names of Christ is the high priest of good things to come? I stand firmly in that faith and in that knowledge that Christ is the high priest of good things to come. And as we do our part and as we do our best, things will work out. Okay, President Hinckley in this talk, I'm going to have to, he talks about, I'm scrolling on this talk, sorry, I guess I could have printed it out, but I didn't even think of that until like just now. So he talks about this, this guy who took a submarine underneath, hold on, talked about a guy who takes a submarine. Okay, Commander William Robert Anderson, the man who took the submarine Nautilus under the North Pole from the waters of the Pacific to the waters of the Atlantic. And he talks about a card that this guy carried. In this guy's wallet, he carried a tattered card with these words, I believe I am always divinely guided. I believe I will always take the right road. I believe God will always, always make a way when there is no way. So I'm just, and President Hinckley, the prophet of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, a few prophets ago, he also carried this card with him. And I'm just going to read the card again because I think it's just so powerful. I believe I am always divinely guided. Am I always divinely guided? Yes. Are you always divinely guided? Yes. Do I always listen to that divine guidance? No, sometimes I have a hard time hearing the divine guidance, but the divine guidance I firmly believe is always there, and it's always there for you. So I'm going to repeat this. I believe I am always divinely guided. I believe I will always take the right road. I believe God will make a way, will always make a way when there is no way. I don't know. If we woke up every single day saying that, how would we be different? How would the world be different? Anyway, just a thought. Okay, so in a different talk, President Gordon B. Hinckley did a talk on accentuating the positive, and he actually quotes the song in that talk. And I don't know if you've ever heard the song. It comes from a song from the 1940s, I believe, where I think we were in World War II at the time. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to do a history on that song sometime. But the song goes, "You've got it." Okay, I'll sing it to you. Why not? Like, we don't have to be the best singers ever to enjoy singing, right? So I'm just going to sing it to you. So it goes, "You got accent-chu-ate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative, don't wait for Mr. In Between. You gotta spread joy," as I'm crying, "up to the maximum, bring gloom down to the minimum, spread, have faith, or pandemonium's liable to walk upon the scene. To illustrate this kind remark, Noah, Jonah in the well, Noah in the ark. What did they do just when everything looks so dark? Man, I said you gotta act." Anyway, and then it repeats. Anyway, so accentuating the positive. Is there ever a time where we can't do that? Is there ever a time when we can't accentuate the positive, where we can't look for the silver lining? There's not. You know me. If you've been watching, I cry. I cry not because I'm sad. I cry because the things that I'm talking about are so dear to my heart, and because I have so much faith in them. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a few more quotes on positivity. This is another quote by President Gordon B. Hinckley from a general conference. "It isn't as bad as you think it is. It all works out. Don't worry. If you do your best, it will all work out. Put your trust in God and move forward with faith." I love that. I'm going to post the meme on the comments below. And then one of my favorite quotes that I heard from one of my ladies that I walk with, that she heard from her daughter, who heard from her mission companion. Anyway, here's the quote, and it's like my motto in life. "Everything will be good in the end. If everything is not good, it is not the end." That is my personal motto. And okay, so I think that's everything that I wanted to talk to you about when it comes to positivity. So again, I'm reminding you that the affirmation for today is, I choose to create positive thoughts in my mind. Are we going to be hit with some negative thoughts? Yeah, I was watching a TED Talk today, and they were saying that, like, when you do the analysis, like 80% of the thoughts that pop into our head from, I'm just going to say, the adversary, or maybe even from ourselves, are negative. Just because they pop into our head, though, we do not need to let them stay. We can change the negative thoughts into positive ones. We can change the negative ways that we might think about others to thinking about them with grace. And so I just wanted to say that. Okay, so that's the affirmation. You know that we always pair a song with our affirmations, and there's no greater song to pair with creating positive thoughts than that song, "Accentuate the Positive." And I think Bing Crosby and the Andrews sisters sing it. I'm definitely going to be posting that for you in the comments. And you know that we always we always are pairing a diffuser blend with the affirmation for the week. The diffuser blend that we're pairing this week is 2 drops of frankincense, which is the oil of truth, 2 drops of marjoram, which is the oil of connection, and 2 drops of lemon, which is the oil of focus. So yesterday we talked about the emotional benefits of frankincense. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about the emotional benefits of lemon, but today we get the opportunity to talk about the emotional benefits of marjoram. And when you learn about marjoram, if you don't have it yet, you're going to definitely want it because it is a powerful oil that has so many gifts with it. Just reminding you that on Friday, we're going to be talking about the physical aspects of each of the oils. So, marjoram is definitely an herb that if you love to cook, you're probably going to know from cooking. And it's been used for thousands and thousands of years. The early Romans called it the herb of happiness. The early Greeks called it joy of the mountains. And that's where actually its name comes from. It comes from the Greek. And so the first gift of marjoram is that it's amazingly calming and soothing. So it's great for stress. It's also great if you can't sleep because you are worried or you're upset. So if you can't sleep because you're worried or you're upset, pop it into your diffuser, rub a little, put a few drops on your hands, smell it, put it on the bottoms of your feet, put it on your heart area. It's going to be amazingly relaxing and help you let go of the worries and the stresses of the day. Because it can be very sedative, this is an essential oil that I would say do not put in your car diffuser, especially not if you're going on long drives. It's better to be using that when you're not driving. Okay, a gift of marjoram is that it helps you let go of criticism and judgment of others and of yourselves, and it encourages us to be more open to digging deeper to see what's really causing these actions in ourselves or in others. So there's that old saying, you can't judge a man until you've walked a mile in his shoes or his moccasins or whatever. And I do really think that as we delve deeper and we understand what's at the root of our problems or even some of other people's issues, it can help us be more loving and understanding and compassionate. Marjoram can help give us be more open to looking deeper. Okay, it's great because it's so soothing. Marjoram can be super good for when you're having a panic attack. I have not had one of those, but many people do. And marjoram can be very good for that. It's also a very good oil for when you're feeling depressed or when those times when you're just feeling a little bit blue. Again, the Greeks and the Romans, it was connected with happiness and joy for them. So, if you're stressed out, it's the end of the day, go ahead. Pop a few drops of marjoram into like a 1/4 cup of Epsom salts. Put that in your bath, or you can even do it with milk, whatever one you like better. And you might even do a visualization where you're soaking in that, you're just feeling that relaxation, and then just intentionally think to yourself, you know what? I'm just gonna, as I pull the plug of my bath today, I'm just gonna let all my worries run away. Just go down the drain, right? Because does worrying ever really help us? I don't know. That's probably a conversation for another day. But it's good to think about issues. It's good to be prepared for things. It's good to face the world with faith. I'm just going to say that one. Okay, marjoram has a gift that it can also help us be more connective and with our ancestors. and appreciating what our ancestors have done for us. Again, it's the oil of connection. It can help us connect. It can help open our hearts and be more connected and more loving to people around us. This is why marjoram, I'm so excited that we're diffusing marjoram this week as we're going into the Christmas season. It's where we try to connect with friends and family, and we remember the why of everything. And even as we're trying to connect more with God, marjoram can be a gift that can help with those types of connections. Okay, so marjoram can also help. So when you're thinking about what things can stop connections, one of the things that can stop connections is a lack of trust. And many people have a lack of trust because of things that have happened to us in the past, right? All of us have had some negative things that have happened to us. It makes it a little bit harder to trust people. Marjoram can help us open up to being more vulnerable. And it's only through being willing to be more vulnerable that we can make connections with others. So, just saying, if you have a problem with trust, marjoram might be an oil that you check out. It can help soften the heart. It can help heal old wounds. Now, if you've been super hurt in the past, can I say just diffuse marjoram and everything's going to be hunky-dory? No. You're definitely going to have to do your emotional work. The essential oils aren't crutches, but they can help give you calmness and peace so that you can start working on the issues and healing the wounds. Okay, because it's such a calming oil, if you tend to be a little bit obsessive, it can help with that. It can also help with those who tend to be who tend to love being the center of drama. Often those people feel like nobody cares. Just sitting with that with a minute. And so if you have people in your life that tend to be high drama, highly sensitive, who tend to feel like no one cares, diffusing the marjoram can be a very good oil to diffuse because it can calm that and help them feel loved and cared for. Okay, in that vein too, it can also help with those who are feeling lonely or even feeling persecuted. So really quick, the positive properties that marjoram can help bring in, and now I'm quoting from this book, Essential Oils, Your Guide to Process, Release, and Live Free. Okay, so marjoram, it can help with if you're distrusting, emotionally aloof or distant, overly protective, emotionally isolated, reclusive, if you have a fear of rejection, or if you tend to self-sabotage. And the positive properties that marjoram can bring in is being emotionally open and connected, to help us have more close relationships, to help us be soft-hearted, loving, and help us regain or strengthen our ability to trust. So that is marjoram essential oil. So just reminding you that the diffuser blend that we're diffusing this week is 2 drops of frankincense, the oil of truth, 2 drops of marjoram, which is the oil of connection, and 2 drops of lemon, which is the oil of focus. The song that I'm super resonating with as we're for this week is Ac-cent-chu-ate the Positive. And I'm reminding you that the affirmation for today is, I choose to create positive thoughts in my head. And the affirmation for this whole week is, I am in charge of my brain. Okay, this is Suzanne Williams with Essential Oils Health Matters, Living the Wholesome Life. And I know that you have it in you to be positive and to spread joy everywhere you go. You have it in you to make today a beautiful, wonderful day. I'm hoping that we all take the vow of positivity, where we try to connect with every situation through positivity. Okay, this is Suzanne Williams with Essential Oils Health Matters, telling you I know you can make it a great day. Bye-bye.